When a base class is inherited as public, the base class protected members becomes the protected members of the derived class and are therefore accessible by member functions of the derived class. By using protected, we can create a class members that are private to their class but can still be inherited and accessed by the derived class. See, the meaning of this is, see, in class, we have three access specifiers, right? That is private, public, and protected. Okay. Now you just observe in this diagram. Okay. If you just observe in this diagram, see, in the first case, or in the second or third case, you look at the box that is private. Okay, private data members cannot be accessed. This rule you have to remember. Private data members cannot be accessed. Now coming to the protected data members. So how we have to understand is, see, if you consider only one class without inheritance concept, okay, private and protected data members both behaves the same. If you consider only one class, if you consider two classes, okay, that is uh, two classes, private and public, base class and derived class, protected members of the base class will become the protected members of the derived class. See here, what you have to understand is, first point is private data members cannot be accessed. See why I'm giving more stress on this point is, uh, when protective members becomes the protective members of the derived class, there you have to concentrate more. We should not get confused with the private data members. You should not get confused with the private data members, because if there is only one class, if there is only one class, private and protected data members behaves the same. If there is an inheritance concept, if there is an inheritance concept, private data members cannot be inherited, protected data members can be inherited. If I say protected data members can be inherited, so in which mode, if we inherit, what will be the status of protected data member? So if we inherit in public mode, if base class inherits in public mode, then protected members of the base class will become the protected members of the derived class. Now we will see the example. Okay. This point you see, the base class protected members become the protected members of the derived class and are therefore accessible by the member functions of the derived class. See, what is the meaning of this? Accessible by members functions of the derived class means, just now we have discussed it. That is, in this notepad file we have discussed it. Accessible by members of the derived class means what? See, if you consider this as a derived class and this is the protected data member, B is the protected data member. Accessible by the members of derived class means what? Member functions of derived class means, like, member functions means print is a member function, display is a member function. Both are member functions. For display function, I have written the prototype and I have written outside the class. Print function I have written inside the class only. But in both the function, you can access this protected data member, right? B you can access. So I have displayed B value I'm displaying in a display and print function. That is the meaning of accessible by member functions. Accessible by member functions means, see, data members accessible by member function means this only. Using those variables or data members in the functions. That is nothing but accessible. So this protected data member I'm using in print function, which belongs to class, and also I'm using in display function, which is a member function of class. So in both the functions I can use. That is the meaning of accessible by the member functions of the derived class. Okay. Next, by using protected, we can create class members that are private to their class, but still can be inherited and accessible by derived class. So in this example, you will come to know how it is. Okay. So we'll see this example. Okay. Okay, you just look at this program. What are the things we have done? You see, in base class, we have taken two member functions which are present in public section and 2 data members which are protected. Say in the previous program we have taken private data members. Here we have taken protected data members. See, if you don't write any access specifier, it is treated as private. Okay, so don't forget to write protected if you want to make those data members as protected data member. Okay, and here it is a keyword, so all the letters should be in small letters. So these are the protected data members, and we have 2 functions in the base class, set and show. Next, when it comes to derived class, in which mode we are inheriting? You see, in public mode. Okay, public mode we are inheriting. Then inside the derived class we have one data, that is k. So we have not mentioned any access specifier, so we can consider this k as private data. Okay, we don't write any access specifier, it is considered as private data. Okay, next, in public section what we have done, we have written 2 functions, set k, show k. Okay, set k and show k. Fine. Next, see here only you should understand, in this program only you should understand. The point here is, you look at the variables of I and j. Look at the variables of I and j. Where it is present, where it is declared. In the base class it is declared. Okay, in the base class it is declared. And in which section it is declared? In protected section it is declared. Okay. See, before I go to the protected section, see, if I make these 2 data members as private, just I will tell you, okay, if I make these 2 data members as private, then you cannot use in the derived class. At this line, you will get error, because private data members cannot be inherited at all. That point I wanted to tell you. Private data members cannot be inherited at all. So if you make these 2 data members as private, you cannot use in any class. When you are deriving, you cannot use in any class, because it cannot be inherited at all. According to this diagram, you just look at this diagram. According to this diagram, you just see whether I have written any arrow mark from private of base class to derived class. No way. Okay, right. In all the 3 modes of inheritance, I have not touched the section, that is the data members of base class which belongs to private section. So I have not put the arrow mark at all. The meaning of that is, in all the 3 modes of inheritance, private data members cannot be inherited. So that is the that you can take it as granted. Okay, that is the rule you have to follow. Private data members cannot be inherited. According to that rule, so in the present program, if I make this as private data member, then you will get the error at these lines. Sorry, where we haven't. You will get error at this line. Now, if I don't want to get error at this line, that means if I want to use I and j variable which belongs to base class, but I want to use in derived class, means either you have to make this as public data member or protected data member. If you make it as protected data member can be accessed. Only private data member cannot be accessed, whereas protected data member can be accessed. So you will not get any error here. Okay, that is one point. Okay, so you can use, because protected data member can be accessed. Okay, next. And k belongs to derived class only, so you can directly access in the derived class only. So you will not get any error. Only thing about I and j, how to think. I and j have not declared here. In the derived class, I have not declared. It is declared in base class, but I am using in derived class. How it is possible? Because I have made it as protected. Instead of private, I have made it as protected. So protected data member can be accessed. Okay, fine. Next. So this is about it. So next thing is, in the main function, if you come, if program execution starts from the main, just like first program, you try to understand here. What is that? Object OB belongs to derived class. Set function belongs to base class. Object OB belongs to derived class. Set function belongs to base class. Still, that means there is no match. Object belonging to one class, function belongs to another class. But still we are executing this line. That means there is no error. Why there is no error? You see 2 things. First thing is, in the base class where set function is there, and in the derived class declaration, what mode you are inheriting. Okay, set function is present in the public section of the base class, and you are inheriting in public mode, so it can be accessed. Understood, right? So set function belongs to public section, and we are inheriting in the public mode, so it can be accessed. So when you inherit in public mode, what happens? Public data members of the base class will become the public data members of the derived class. So only we can access, just like first program. Okay, just like first program, you have to understand. Okay, public members of the base class will become the public members of the derived class. So only you can access. Understood? Okay. Now, uh, similarly for show function. Okay, show function also, show function present in public section of the base class, and we are inheriting in public mode, so it can be accessed. Okay, just like first program. Okay. Next, coming to the set k and show k function, there is no confusion. OB object belongs to derived class, set k function belongs to derived class, OB object belongs to derived class, show k function belongs to derived class. So there is no confusion. So here in this complete program, what you have to understand is first thing about this statement, whether we'll get error or not. See why we have to think like that, whether we are getting error or not. Because K belongs to derived class, so you can access, there is no error. But coming to the I and J variable, I and J variable I have not declared in derived class. It is present in base class. And if it is in private mode, we'll get error. Now it is in protected mode. Protected data members can be inherited. So there is no rule that protected data members cannot be inherited. It can be inherited. So if it is inherited, means you will not get any error. Okay, if the private data members are there, then you will get error. So it is declared in protected section. So you can access these variables. There is one point. Next point is same as the first program. Set function and show function, you can call the functions by using object of derived class, because see, OB is the object of derived class, set and show function belongs to base class. But still you can call those functions because those are declared in public section, and inheritance mode is also public. Okay. Now we will look at this diagram. So how it works. So if we consider working of this program is same as the first program. See, I am calling ob.set of 2, 3. 2 will be copied to A, 3 will be copied to B. In turn, A value will be copied to I, B value will be copied to J. I put one arrow mark. You just try to understand. A value will be copied to I, B value will be copied to J. So in object OB, for variable I, value is 2. For variable J, value is 3. Okay. And next, coming to the coming to the set k function. Okay, set k means we are setting the value for k. So what is k? K is equal to I into j. I value is 2, j value is 3. So 2 into 3 is 6. For object OB, I value is 2, j value is 3, k value is 6. Okay. Next, when you display, you can display I and j values both, and you can display k value. So I and j values means 2 and 3, k value is 6. 2 into 3 is 6. Okay. So one sentence they have given here. So we'll see what is that sentence. Okay, in the above example, if I and j have been declared as private by base, then derived class would not have access to them, and the program will not compile. Will not compile means you will get error. That is the meaning. What they are telling, if you are declaring I and j as private in base class, so that only I said, first thing that only I said, if you are making this as private, then you cannot access these data in derived class. At this line you will get error, so program will not compile. It will not compile means it will get error. Okay, understood? So if you don't want to get error at this line, make this as protected. Okay. So now you look at this program. If you get any doubts, you can ask. When a derived class is used as a base class for another derived class, okay, any protected member of the initial base class that is inherited as public by the first derived class may also be inherited again by the second derived class. For example, the following program is correct, and the derived 2 does indeed have access to I and j. Okay, so the meaning of this is they are talking about multi-level inheritance. Okay, multi-level inheritance means how to remember this diagram. Okay, that is in 5 types of inheritance, multi-level. So this diagram you have to remember. Okay, see, this entire chapter is all about this first 2 diagrams only. So only I said how to remember these 2 diagrams perfectly. Types of inheritance and 3 modes of inheritance. Okay, so multi-level means we'll be having 3 classes here. 3 classes will be linked. Okay. So if you consider class A, class B, and class C, class B is derived from class A, class C is derived from the class B. Okay. So this is called as multi-level. Now here, what are the class names? What they are using, we will see in this example or in this topic. What class names they are using, we will see. First class name is base. So this you can consider like class A. According to diagram, you can consider like class A. Second class name derived one. So one, the value one, it is not the value one, it is the class name. Okay, derived one. So you can consider this as the class B if you want to compare with the diagram. Okay, so public base means class A here. Okay, then coming to the next class, derived 2. Derived 2 means class C here. So this is class C, okay, and derived 1 means class B, okay. Derived 1 is class B, okay. Just a minute. Okay. So in this way we have to understand, okay. That means B is inherited by A, C is inherited by B. So three classes we have, A, B, C. Here base, derived 1, derived 2. Okay. So A, according to diagram, A arrow mark to B, B arrow mark to C. That is multi-level. Okay. Now if we consider like this, so we will see what we are doing. So in class A we have taken I and J. I and J protected section of the class A or base class. Okay. Now when we take in the protected section, you can inherit. Protected data members can be inherited. Only public data members cannot be inherited. Only private data members cannot be inherited. Whereas public data members or member functions and protected data members and member functions can be inherited. Only private data members and member functions cannot be inherited. And when you are reading the second class, you see the inheritance mode here. What is the inheritance mode? Public mode. Okay, so when you inherit in public mode, you just follow this diagram. So what is the diagram? So when you inherit in public mode, say second mode I have written. When you inherit in public mode, public members of the base class will become the public members of the derived class. Protected members of the base class will become the protected members of the derived class. Okay, public to public, protected to protected. That means there is no change in the status. Okay, whatever the status is present in base class, same status is maintained in the derived class. So you can remember this diagram. Okay, now, so coming to the example. Okay. Here. Okay, here. So int I and j will become the protected member of derived class, that is derived one. Set and show functions will become the public members of the derived class, that is derived one. That means there is no change in the status. Within one statement, you can remember, when you inherit in public mode, there will be no change in the status. Whatever the section we have in the base class, same it is maintained. Protected data members will become protected data members. Public functions will become public functions of the derived class. Okay. So only you can access I and J. Even though I and J belongs to base class, you can access here because, as I said, protected data members can be inherited. So I and J. Okay. Sorry. So how we can think is I and J belongs to base class. Okay, so it can be accessed, and base class in which section it is there? Protected section. So you can access. So private section cannot be accessed. Protected section can be accessed. Next, coming to the derived 2. Okay, derived 2. In derived 2, what we are doing? Again, we are accessing I and J. See how it is going from one level to another level. First of all, I and J present in base class. It is coming to derived 1 class. Again, it is coming to derived 2. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Because when I and J comes to the derived class, in which section it will come? It will not come in private section. It will come in protected section. So you can think like this: protected I int I comma j. You can think like this. Okay, protected int I j. So if I tell it comes in protected section, same it can be carried to derived class also. So only you can access here. Okay? Here I and j can be accessed. I and J can be accessed because it is in protected mode. So protected data members we are carrying to the next level from base class to derived one class, from derived one class to derived two class. That means from class A to B, from B to C. Okay. Next. So in the main function, so we are calling all the functions here. Okay, step by step we are calling. So this thing, so tomorrow I will explain. Okay, because it takes time. Some 20-30 minutes is needed to explain these functions. So tomorrow I will explain. Just you can look into the recorded video of today's class, and if you have any doubts, you can ask. So after that, we have multi-level inheritance. So in the multi-level, I will tell you how it works. Okay. And last topic is protected base class inheritance. In that we have two programs. We will see what are those two programs. Okay. Yes, we have come till here.